from hosting CAF Category 3 games. There are widespread speculation say Ghana about Koboni ball or Abidjan in the next AFCON qualifier. Mpacho Ubusa sa same answer Bena Honorable Minister Nede Mao. Was it convincing enough?
It wasn't convincing. It wasn't convincing. It wasn't convincing because well, Okachre the committee say ono onte say we are likely to go and play our category 3 outside the country, and in particular Ivory Coast na maybe ball no say ono onte now it's like they are expecting CAF to come down and inspect some facilities. And that is what he said. But in the fact of the matter is that CAF, the standard for the kind of game I can. We are not just looking at just the pitch only. They are looking at the whole lot.
Sure.
They are looking at the whole lot. And I know the minister should know this. Normally, for their to approve a venue, you look at the capacity even of the stadium, because they're looking at least 40,000 and above for such category matches and games. And aside, there are other facilities also we are looking at. In Ethiopia, even the Legon Sports Stadium,
yes, sir,
may not be approved because of the capacity. So I know he knows, because having been the minister for this period, he should know the standards for such games, and then be able to convince himself, say this is this facility can do for this or cannot do for this, and so on and so forth. So we are just looking at what he meant by they are expecting CAF to come down. And
was he specific about the timelines? That because Bona Ghana be born here 11th October, or expected to CAF?
Absolutely, I know he knows. And then may notice they say like well, let's see when CAF, if he says he has written to CAF for them to come and inspect. The only thing is that we know the time is taking, and we also know that in fact the FA will be coming before us on Monday, and so they will also come and tell us frustrations with regards to this match, right, and tell us what they think the way forward is and all that. And then that is when we will all get to know what is really cooking.
Okay.
And what is really going on. But what I say?
Matiasepa, very well, explained point. But somewhere the minister also, absorbed himself and his ministry from blame regarding the renting of the Baba Yara Stadium to a church just before the Ghana game.
And no say
or the two NSA. So just to buttress my point further, last week, NSA for us to say about their role in maintenance of our national stadium. How's the ministry, Nejuma?
You are absolutely right, because if you have heard a follow-up question, when he says it was the renting of the place to a church, and the church agreeing mismanaging the pitch and all that, and we had the challenge we had, and because of that singular act of the DG, without informing them or maybe consulting them before allowing that to happen, the DG was fired. Fine. Now, let's just go back a little. There were instances where what has really brought Cape Coast on its knees, and for which reason they had to rush back to go and be renovating and spending taxpayers' money to do all these things. So Hey, sir, 6 March now, I'm koye or I'm with them work ni. I'm working all kinds of way. No,
Mponko nyina akudwa ne faso.
Echo park so and use it anyhow. Let me be say, and no sad decision. No, was it your only decision? And say, NSC and say it was coming from the presidency.
Ebia what they associate no na.
No one answer. To me answer.
I don't know to me answer.
So that we'll know. Say it's like I just want to share the standards. Want to know the standards. If you felt this one was wrong and for which reason somebody's head must go. I don't know.
So what's the difference between allowing
the president?
Yes.
If the president, His Excellency, decided to 6 March for park so then the president should as well sack himself.
You don't think the minister was consulted? And I say, Edusa time now, his hands are tied and he's got nothing to say.
And then when it comes to such events, the national events like this, what I know is that there's always a committee involving various sectors, including the presidency under the chief of staff. So they normally would take overriding decisions. So all that I'll tell you is it simply means this is a government that just doesn't care about sports and can just go do anything and just doesn't look into the implications or ramifications of more actions and inactions. And so anything then goes. Problem Koba, then they look out for a scapegoat and then slaughter. They just say, and don't say, no, now maybe that might appease Ghanaians. But this time around, it is much ado about nothing because kicking the DG out of the place, who apparently, just came in to continue a tradition of renting such facilities to churches and other, interested artists, just to make money because they also have a problem. They don't get their releases from Ministry of Finance and I say from the ministry, for the ministry. So at the end of the day, they are cash strapped, and that is another reality there. So they are compelled to go and be doing things like this to just defeat the purpose for which such facilities are built. And that was also wrong. In this case, it's even costing the nation more in the embarrassment it brings to us, the humiliation it brings to us. If you want to quantify all of this, sad. In fact, to say the least.
Interesting. And he also made mention of some $2.8 million allocation to the GFA from the World Cup proceeds. That was $5 million. Or see, the purpose is to ensure that you improve your facilities. Then you have stadium, a hotel, or pram. And I know crowd GFA Congress, there was a groundbreaking event to mark the occasion. So how does the Parliament Select Committee on Youth and Sports ensure say
No, we requested for some further breakdown of all this. And we've taken note of FA Bar will have some further discussions on it. And then where the other resources is coming from to be able to get their plans through. I was at their Congress.
Yes,
I even applauded the FA for the foresight. I mean, for the good work. If you look at the Ghanaman center, you realize a lot of things, a lot of infrastructure and up to help in camping our sportsmen and women here to cut down costs so that they don't use the hotels and all that, so that they can have time to train before any major tournament. You see, I think very good. But the details, I think we'll leave it for the FA to come and tell us the details.
Right. And you said they'll come on Monday, right?
I remember Monday.
Okay, yeah, the radio say almost Bana. Minister Sanka said the ministry no engage stakeholders. Amomo develop sports policy. Omoji input every National Development Planning Commission crowd. Now policy no on the final stages and Chombe launch. Did the select committee of on sports and culture have an input in this policy the minister is talking about?
I remembered. Yes, they brought something. They were developing a policy to that effect. They were building on E.T. Mensah's beautiful and wonderful policy that was there. That is the Honorable E.T. Mensah, and then the subsequent additions by the previous sports ministers, and I'm building on. And of course, we all know that the sports in general, in worldwide, is taking another dimension, and it's more of business venture and value addition, and something when packaged well adds a lot to GDP of a lot of countries. That's why the UN has classified it more or less as a development tool now. In that case, you have to tailor your policies in a direction where, when you are implementing, will be one which creates jobs and builds the entire facets of the economy, and so on. So both tourism and all that in a way. When we are. Look at it. But for me, I was looking at it. It's late in the day, right from day one. They should have started looking at that. But now that you are almost exited, that is the issue. But it's something that we will all have to continue to build on anyway.
Honorable Kobe, you say a very busy man. You be jam wako, but unim say a engagement course the biggest story that has emerged from the engagement is that ukache minister and say ministers abe sports organa on a bompa onimshi, and a minister and say no nyadwin na the okan ubetimi abaki with data na then na uni data na also be abon.
What is happening is it was one of our colleagues that asked that question, and of course we have data to prove all of that. I mean, we can tell you. I mean, it is the successes, and I think the one who asked the question made the point. And so, essentially, I mean, we all kind of say, you realize that. I mean, our junior teams, for example, when it comes to football, haven't done anything in terms of qualifying. I mean, it's like when you look at the performance of all the national teams, from the under 17 up to the Black Stars, and you ask yourself, you just suppose that to other regimes, you realize that there's very little to show for, and if you look at this whole thing, and I'm sure the colleague was able to put that clearly out there for him to see, but then he was trying to justify the performance
do you also agree with the notion that Mustafa Usif is a non-performing sports minister?
I that's why I was telling you that I agree in the sense that the performances of our national teams, it's so abysmal, very, very, very abysmal. I mean, we haven't recorded such low points in our football, and that is when we are also getting a lot of bad names. That's when our rankings have become so low on the FIFA rankings. We even on the continental rankings we have dropped so significantly. And so if nothing is bad, what about this one? And so it's clear. And I'm saying the minister was just defensive. And then just trying to let everyone know, oh, you don't have statistics. There's things are bound to show, look, it is the fruits is the fruit, you know. And then remember, you upload the measures you took. Good, then we applaud you. But if you've taken measures and bring in the right fruits for all of us to applaud you, I mean, clearly, you are failed.
Wow. Okay, just before you go, this exercise, 1 out of 10, who rating now? Who the number 2 in fan?
What's it?
Who rating 1 to 10 now? Who the number 2 in minister no?
Hello.
Hello, Honorable Kobe. Hello, Honorable Kobe. I think we lost him. I wanted him to give me a score of how the minister has fared, but I think we are good. 9:55 is the time. We'll go back to our foreign, stories. We'll return. Where there? I have max 89.7 now. So say your boy in Kukune Maresca after Chelsea's 5-0 win over Barrow. I think there are other results to go through. Manchester City Eshe Watford by 2-1. Now Pep Guardiola no coach at Manchester City. Hey, yo, I know you go Jeremy Doku on Nunes Eshe goes. Yentie Pep Guardiola on the 2-1. Yo, you just radio. Me too. Sure,